Hello everyone, Allison Okamitsu here from nicepeoplestamp.com, and thank you for joining me for the Smitten Mittens online class. You are going to love what I have to share with you. So this is what you should have received if you made no substitutions to your class. So you'll have the Smitten Mittens stamp set, the Many Mittens framelits, as well as your class packet from me. So don't forget, for this class I've also told you that you need the basic black and blushing bride ink pads, so have those on hand, as well as a selection of adhesives and your big shot. So I am so excited to dig into this class pack. I want to thank you so much for joining me for this online class. I love doing these for you guys. They're so fun, and I really truly do feel like you're creating with me here in my studio. So it's such a fun time. Let's get started and see what pieces are inside our class pack here. So everything in here you will need to create your projects, and we have some stunning projects to share. I'm so excited. So here's a little letter from me. If you're wondering some of the pieces that I may have included in your class pack, if I've used a die cut or something, you can check what that is on this list here. So I've enclosed that for you as well. We've got the beautiful pool party shimmer ribbon. I've included a yard of that for you. So put that aside. We're going to use that on a couple of the cards. And then let's dig into this class pack. So we have two colored card bases and one Whisper White card base. So there's the supplies for 2 of each card. All right, and I am going to create 1 of each card in the video today, but just know that you have the supplies for 2 of each card, and you can actually make both cards at once, just to make it a little bit easier on yourself, or you can watch the video twice and do, the class twice if you want to do 1 card at a time. So the first card I'm going to work on is the one with the Wild Wasabi card base, so I'm just going to move these others out of the way. And because I'm making 1 card at a time, I want to sort of divide up my supplies because I won't need everything in here. Okay, so when you open it up, you're going to find 3 rectangles, one in Whisper White, Wild Wasabi, and Pool Party. We're going to use these for die cutting, so I'm going to need those. There's also these squares of cardstock. I'll need 4 for my 1 card. You'll need 8 if you're making both cards. We've got this beautiful designer series paper, and so we'll need 2 pieces of that for my 1. You've got 1 doily in here, and I'm going to show you how you can use 1 doily for both of your cards. So we'll need that, and just split up the rest of these supplies and get going. Okay. So let's start with a little bit of stamping. So I just want you to, do you guys want to actually, you know what? Let me show you the card we're making. You're just going to love this. Isn't that so darling? I think it's so cute, and it's really not hard to make. There's just a lot of layers, and it's absolutely beautiful. So that is what we're working on. So we'll put that sort of up in the corner here so we can see what we've got going on. And then I'm going to do, like I said, a little bit of stamping. I need to stamp the word Smitten, and I also need to stamp these little mittens. So this one of these squares is going to be for the word Smitten. And then on here, this rectangle, that was the one that I pointed out we're going to use for die cutting. That's where I'm going to stamp my mittens. So I have my stamps already ready on my clear blocks. And remember, I've got my ink pads. I've got my basic black. That's what I'm going to stamp the word Smitten with. So you can just ink that up and stamp it straight down. Remember, if you're making 2 cards at once, just make sure you do all of these steps twice. Okay, so we have Smitten. And then I'm going to take my Blushing Bride ink pad and stamp my cute little mittens. Okay, adorable. I just love them. The Smitten Mittens bundle has been a favorite of mine. It has really just captured me and I've just really loved on it. Okay, so I want to grab my other pieces that I have for die cutting. Remember that wild wasabi rectangle and the pool party rectangle. Let me just grab that out. So I need all those for die cutting. So let's get out the Big Shot. All right. So I have my Big Shot here, and we're going to use the many Mittens dies that are included in your class to cut out some cute little mittens for our card. So I did stamp these ones in Blushing Bride, and you can see I can just line these up with the framelit and cut it right out. Easy peasy. I do love our framelits so much with the coordinating stamps. It's so nice to be able to stamp and then die cut something and not have to fussy cut. All right, so we have our two little mittens ready to go. And then for this card, I also need mittens in Pool Party and Wild Wasabi. So I just have my little Pool Party mittens here. And I've included quite a bit of cardstock for you. You don't need to put them that close together if you don't want. I just didn't want you to run out if you needed any extra. All right, our little Pool Party mittens are ready. And now let's move on to our Wild Wasabi mittens. I really like this Wild Wasabi color for Christmas. It's a little bit, you know, lighter than the garden green, but not as bright maybe as some of the other greens. Even though you guys know me, I love a bright, fun Christmas card. I like bright and fun anything. Okay, so we have our little mittens. So let's move this Big Shot out of the way. We're going to carry on assembling our card. So let's just put that back in so we know what we're working on. All right, so let's start with your two pieces. Let's get our card base closed up there. So I want you to start with your two pieces of designer paper. And we're just going to assemble these on either side of the card. We have this Pool Party strip that's going down the middle to cover up that little hole, but we want to make sure that we have these pieces on first. So just add a little bit of adhesive on the back. I'm using Fast Fuse. All right. So you can just add those on. This is a really fun designer paper. You'll find it in the holiday catalog. And this patterned one in particular, this particular pattern, the music kind of goes every which way, which is kind of fun. So there's kind of no wrong way to put it onto your card front, which is nice. So we have that on. Now let's add our Pool Party piece to go down the middle. You can just put that on right at the very top of your card base and just line it up. There we go. And now let's talk about this doily. I said I was going to show you how you can use one doily for two cards. So what you're going to do is you're just going to cut it in half, and it doesn't need to be perfect. And then you're going to take these two pieces, stack them on top of each other, and then cut those in half, okay? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the back of my real red square, so I can put those aside for my next card. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the top and bottom of my square, and then I can just put my doily pieces sticking out the top and bottom. Isn't that perfect? And what a great way to add a little bit of doily embellishment fun, but not have to use, you know, several doilies per card. All right, so now let's get our little squares ready to put on. I like to sort of map them out where they're going to go first so I don't have any mess ups. So I just sort of map out where I think that they should fit. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and add my dimensionals, and I just add a couple on the back of each square. And we are going to add the mittens to these after, so don't worry. I love those little mittens. Like I said before, I've created several projects using the Smitten Mittens stamp set and dies. So if you're looking for more ideas, you can always go to my blog and look for some of the projects that I have there. I just love this bundle. And this is kind of a little bit more softer, maybe non-traditional color combination for Christmas, but there are just so many fun colors we can use for Christmas. It doesn't have to be just your traditional red and green. You know, throw some blushing bride in there, some pool party, and it really makes it pop. I'm not saying I don't like the traditional red and green. I'm just saying that you don't have to stick to traditional red and green if you don't want to. You can add a few pops of color in there. All right, so we have our squares onto our, we have our white squares onto our real red square. There we go. Oh, and I have one that's a little bit crooked, so I'm just gonna pull it up. There we go. Perfect. And now we can add this piece onto our card base. So I'm going to add that on with dimensionals. And I like to be pretty liberal with them. If this is your first time taking an online class with me, you may be gasping at the number of dimensionals I use. But if this is not your first online class, then you know that I use quite a few, because I want my card to show up with just as much dimensional glory as I sent it in the mail with. All right, so there we go. And then let's put together these cute little mittens. So what I'm gonna do is I have it so one mitten kind of rests on top of the other mitten. So what I want to do is just add a tiny bit of adhesive onto the front of that one mitten, put the other one on top, just however you like, and then I added a dimensional or two on the back, just like that, and then put it on top of my square. Okay, I love my dimensionals. I use them so much. So there is our blushing bride mittens, and then let's put on our little wild wasabi mittens. This I think would be such a cute card to give to, you know, a husband or girlfriend or a boyfriend or even a child, you know, smitten. So cute. You could even switch up the sentiment to say Merry Christmas or whatever you wanted. All right, so then our last one is our little pool party mittens. And then add some dimensionals on the back of there. Oh, this is so cute. I hope you're loving this. I just love doing this for you guys. All right, so there is our cute first card. Isn't that adorable? The color combo I just love, so I hope you do too. Okay, so let's move on to our second card, which is going to be the card with the Whisper White card base. Okay, so grab that one out. Again, I'm going to sort of separate my supplies, but you certainly don't need to if you're doing 2 cards at one time. You can just leave them all together and work on 2 at the same time if you want. There we go. All right. So the card we're working on now is this beautiful one. This one has lots of texture. I've used the cable knit embossing folder for you, and I'm going to show you how to use the texturizing dies that came with your Many Mittens set. So very cool. I can't wait to show you this. All right, so let's get our pieces ready. This big rectangle of Whisper White, that's for stamping your mittens. So make sure you put that aside. We are going to assemble the rest of our card and sort of put our mittens on at the very last moment. So I'm going to add my piece of embossed cardstock to the front of my card front. So we'll just add some adhesive on the back and put that down. Okay. And then again, we have that beautiful music paper. So let's add some adhesive on the back and put that onto our card front. I can see myself using this music note paper so far beyond Christmas, even though it has Christmas, you know, carols and stuff on it, because we use just such a small piece sometimes, or we cover it up, or we do other things, we don't need to worry too much about, you know, the longevity past Christmas. I think we can use it far longer. So let's assemble these two pieces. I've got my circles. I cut these with the layering circles framelits for you. And then I do want to make sure that I emboss this piece. So what I'm going to do is get out my Big Shot. So we'll stamp our mittens and die cut those and then emboss this at the same time. I can't wait to show you this. This is a really cool technique. So let's grab our stamp. We have that beautiful big mitten and our Blushing Bride. So we're going to need 2 of these. Make sure you get enough ink on there. So 2 for each card. So there are 2 of the rectangles of Whisper White cardstock in your card packs. So make sure that you stamp 4 if you're creating both cards at once. And then let's grab out our Big Shot again. All right. So we need to emboss this piece of wild wasabi and cut out our mittens. So we can actually do this at the same time. I've sized these so you can fit both pieces on your Big Shot at the same time. And we're going to take, oh, not that mitten. There's 2 mittens, so you can have a left and a right, but we're using 2 of the same side just for this card. Okay, and then I want to show you this fun piece. So this piece doesn't actually cut. It's for embossing, and it's a great way to add some texture to your mittens, or also add some texture just to a piece of cardstock as an embellishing element. So what we're going to do is we're just going to line that up onto that piece of wild wasabi. We'll run this through the Big Shot. And then I'm going to show you how that embosses. And we're going to run this through a couple of times so we can emboss that whole piece. But isn't this so cool? Look at that, it's embossed. And it goes so well with the mittens. It's just awesome. So we're going to send that on through again because we need to cut out our other mitten and keep embossing that piece of wild wasabi. So we don't actually need to emboss the entire length. What I'm going to show you, and I often will do something like this as a little shortcut. So you can see that, look, if I keep it just like this, I don't need to emboss anymore. I just need to emboss on this other edge because the rest of it is getting covered up. So let's just get some embossing done down this edge, or down this side, I guess. And we can carry on with our card making. There we go. It's just so cute. All right. So we can move our Big Shot out of the way and carry on assembling. So again, this is what we're working towards, our cute little mitten card. Get rid of our garbage here. And let's keep going. So I want to add my my little mitten embossed embellishment. So I'm going to add that on with dimensionals. Are you guys surprised that I'm using dimensionals again? I doubt it, right? I doubt it. They're one of my favorite things. But you know what? If you guys watch my videos, especially my live videos that I do on my Facebook page, then you know I always have a new favorite. I just fall in love with everything. As soon as I use the stamps or the dies, I'm always thinking of new ways to use them, and it gets me so excited. And then it you know, suddenly becomes my favorite again. Okay, so let's put on our mittens onto our circles here. And we'll put one about like that. So that one's just going straight down with some fast fuse. And then, you guessed it, the second one's going on with some dimensionals. All right. So just about like that. And before we put this piece on, I want to show you these fun little ribbon embellishments I've put on. So remember that pool party ribbon? We're going to use just a little bit. We're going to use 3 little pieces for each card. They're about 1.5 inches. So we'll just cut 3 little pieces. Again, if you're making both cards at once, then you'll want to cut 6 pieces. But I've got my glue dots here. And I'm just going to put a glue dot on one end and then close it up to make this fun little loop. And that's another way to make a cute embellishment for your card projects or scrapbooking projects or home decor projects. You guys know me, I like it all. All right, so there we have it. And then I like to use another glue dot to just adhere these to the back of my circle. So you can see that I'm gonna put my circle kind of about like that. So I want to put my, oh, I'm missing my glue dot. There we go. I want to put my little ribbon embellishments on the back of that there. Let's move that a bit. Yeah, just about like that. And you can kind of fluff it up. So I have one. We'll add the next one. It's just a cute little addition that you can add a little bit more visual interest and texture to your projects. Ooh. There we go. So cute. And then what I want to do is I want to put this onto my card front. So we've already put dimensionals on the back of here. So I want to put dimensionals just on either side of that green piece on the back of my real red circle. So what I mean by that is you're just going to put dimensionals along the top and bottom because this portion is already going to be popped up with the dimensionals on the back of the wild wasabi. So we can just, oh, come on, Allison. There we go. Put that down right about like that. And there we go. There is our second card in the Smitten Mittens online class. I think it's just darling. So you can see all the fun details there. Those big pink mittens are just so cute. And it says, sending warm and fuzzy Christmas wishes your way. So just adorable. All right, I think I have saved what I think is maybe the best card for last. And I do love them all, but I super love these really detailed mittens. And I'm gonna show you how to make this card. Again, not as hard as it looks. So we have our Blushing Bride card bases. And I'm just, again, going to sort of split up my stuff. This one we're gonna use to die cut these hearts. So it's one piece for both cards. And then I have my designer paper. This is a die cut from the Lots of Labels, and I've done those ahead for you. And then you'll have 2 pieces of this real red, and these are for die cutting your mittens. So make sure you have those. Okay, so let's get started on this cute mitten card. And I like to sort of assemble a little bit to get some pieces out of the way and then do sort of my die cutting and stamping if I can. So that's what I'm going to do here. And so I'm going to put my fast fuse on the back of my Wild Wasabi cardstock and add that to the front of my card. All right. And then we have our Pool Party die cut. Remember, that's the Lots of Labels framelits I used for that one. And we'll put that right about in the center, just like that. And then our beautiful music designer paper again. We'll add some fast fuse to the back of that one. and place that down onto our card front. All right, just like that. So now it's time to do the stamping and the die cutting. So let's get our stamp pads and our stamps out, because I want to stamp this sentiment onto this punch circle, and then stamp and die cut that cute little cross stitch heart. So we'll get the little cross stitch heart stamped. You can stamp both of yours at the same time. And then we'll stamp our sentiment. And this one's in basic black. There we go. Okay, so again, let's bring out our big shot, and we're going to die cut the heart as well as our mittens. So for the mittens, I want to die cut this fun piece and then the coordinating solid piece to go behind, okay? And then again, our heart die. So let's grab that big shot. Alrighty. So you're going to need 2 of your mittens. I'm just trying to remember how I set these up. Oh, right. So for the mitten, just remember on the solid mitten, you don't actually need the thumb. So you can have the thumb kind of hanging off. That's not a big deal because it'll be hidden behind this thumb. So let's get those pieces on there and run that through. Oh, I need to scooch that down. All right. So we'll roll that through. And because I have that really detailed mitten, I want to roll it back and forth, okay? So I know this looks funny, but that's really the only piece you need, because what I'm going to show you is this detailed mitten covers that up. So I'm just releasing this from the die. I'm actually using my scissors, or the point of my scissors, but if you have a paper piercer, or even better, the Big Shot die brush. Okay, so this is what I mean. So see how that, when you put it on top, it totally covers that part because the thumb is solid on that top piece. I know it looked so funny when I was die cutting it, but don't worry. And then you can just use whatever, you know, your paper piercer or whatever to pop out all of those pieces. Okay, so you'll need to cut another one of the mittens. So remember, there's 2 for each card, so you can line this up, but I've already die cut and put together another one so you guys don't have to wait for me, okay? So now let's die cut our little heart. So remember, you need 2 real red mittens per card and 1 heart per card. So cute. Alrighty. Okay, so again, this is what we're working towards. There's that mitten that I already created. So I just want to show you how I put this one together. You're going to pop out all those little pieces. If you have the Big Shot die brush, I highly recommend using it. I neglected to bring it to my filming station today, which is really too bad because it works so well. I'll share it with you in another video for sure. So you can even, I'm just using my fingernail at this point to pop those out. Okay. And because I ran it back and forth, the pieces do really come out easily. Okay, so let's get that mess out of the way. And then I want to put this onto my die cut solid one. So I just want to put a few dimensionals, and I have my mini dimensionals here. These are the perfect size. So I'm just going to put them strategically in places that will be hidden, but that will also stick my two pieces together with some space in between. All right. So now, see, you can just take the backs off of those. And place that right onto your solid mitten. Ta-da! So perfect, right? Okay, so now we want to put these two mittens together, kind of like this. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of fast fuse on the front of that one, and then kind of angle it just about like that. And then I have my two mittens together for the front of my card. So let's bring that card in, and now we can put this onto our card front. So I'm going to put some fast fuse on the back of the bottom mitten, and then I want to put dimensionals on the back of the top mitten because there are dimensionals in between the layers on that top mitten. So we want them, all the layers, to sort of line up, so to speak. So put that on just about like that. Isn't that so cute? I just love it. Okay, and then now we want to put our dimensionals on the back of our circle. So again, I'll just put a few on, and what I'm actually going to do is this one is going to be dimensional singularly on top of this mitten, but on this side we need two doubled up just for everything to remain the same height. So we'll put two dimensionals doubled on that side, and then you can see it'll just pop right on top of there. And again, everything's sort of the same height. Okay, so we have our cute heart that I want to add to our front here. And again, I just want to put two layers of dimensionals, and I'm going to use the minis this time, onto the one side of the heart. And the other side will just be resting on this circle. So just about like that. Oh, I love it. And then our last step is this fun bow. So you'll have quite a bit of ribbon left. And so just remember you'll need to cut or tie two bows from your leftover ribbon, and you'll probably still have some more left over. But just make sure that you don't go too overzealous on your first bow and then not have enough for your second. So since this is our last card, whatever you have remaining of your pool party ribbon, you can use on this card for your bow, okay? And then I'm just going to snip my ends here. And then I like to use a glue dot on the back of here to add them on. There you go. All right, that is the last of our cards in the Smitten Mittens online class. I hope you love it. Isn't that so cute? I just love this one. Like I said, I think this is my favorite, but again, I change my mind all the time. So let's take a look at all the cards we made today in our online class using the Smitten Mittens bundle. They're just so pretty. I think they're just adorable, and I think that your friends and family are going to love them too. So I hope you had an awesome time creating with me. I hope you'll join me for another online class very soon. I release them about once a week. So stay tuned. If you don't receive my newsletter, make sure you sign up, because all of my class announcements are always done by newsletter, Facebook, stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're connected so you never miss one. So make sure you sign up for my newsletter. There is a link in this email that you are watching the video through to sign up for my newsletter to get that information. So thank you so much, everyone. I have had the best time creating with you. It has been so fun, and I hope you enjoyed coming into my studio to make the beautiful Smitten Mittens online class cards. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.